Hello, everyone. This is Steel Roses Podcast. This podcast was created for women by women to elevate women's voices. I hope everyone is having a great week. I gave myself some extra wiggle room this week, um, just because I was waiting to see like how things went and how things were prioritized, and you know, a big part of it was giving myself grace to prioritize things that I wanted to prioritize, like my kids, spending time with them, if I had to prioritize my daytime job, like that kind of thing, and not beating myself up for it, which is hard, right? Because I think I can probably speak for a lot of women out there that, we are our own worst critics, and we will beat ourselves up to no end when we really don't need to. So I hope everyone's having a good week. Now, something yesterday that popped into my head that I actually wanted to share with you guys. I have this thing, and I think I've talked about this. I'm literally like almost talking about it right now, where out of the gate, I don't know what it is. And I know what it is. I know this is like kind of just how I observe things growing up. But when my kids and my husband are home, when we're all together as a family, my priorities will shift based on like basically who's home. So making sure that everybody eats, making sure there's food at the various times. I still do like an afternoon 3 p.m. like snack time for my kids because they start to get hangry at that point. And once I see them bickering a little bit more heatedly, I will immediately be like, "Oh, let's do a snack tray," and I get everyone's blood sugar levels back to normal. Yesterday, I think it was my son was home. I was working, and like two kids where I can, and it just kind of randomly popped into my head that the biggest difference for me when I have everyone home versus when I have time by myself is that when I'm by myself, I eat more healthy food options. I actually sit down to eat healthy things, and I drink a lot of water, which are two actually pretty really important things that I should be consistently doing on a regular basis. But somehow that doesn't seem to happen. So normally, like, and you guys are going to think I'm nuts here, but like normally when my husband and kids are home, I don't think, and the kids will tell you, mom doesn't sit down to eat. So when we eat, we're not traditional in any way, shape, or form. We all eat in the kitchen. We have a kind of small island situation. So the kids all sit at the island and Chris sits at the table, or vice versa, or whatever. Like, but everyone has a seat. Usually, and actually a lot because I'm intermittent fasting, when my food time ends at the end of the day, it's about when I'm like also trying to get food on the table for everybody else. So normally, like my last meal will happen while I'm cooking. So like between 6 and 7, while I'm cooking food or getting things prepared to put out on the table, I will eat while I'm cooking. So I'm eating like standing up basically. Like there is no like, oh, I'm sitting down and actually like tasting my food and appreciating my food. That doesn't happen when I'm in my mom mode and I'm getting things like turning things out in the kitchen. But when I'm alone, that's like the biggest difference. And the water thing is a huge, huge difference that I'm most recently becoming much more painfully aware of that fact, because I don't know if it's because I'm getting older, whatever it is, but it is really critical for me to be hydrated all day long. If I don't hit 60 ounces of water, like I actually really feel it. And I might not feel it on the first day, but I'll start to feel it. I can feel the dehydration in my system. But those are like the two biggest things. When everybody's here, I, for some reason, like can't get my head out of my butt to actually sit down and prioritize my own food intake. Because I'm always trying to cram so much in. So just calling myself out there. And I'm sure we all have things that we do that we're not like real thrilled with, but I wanted to just share that with you guys because like, why not, right? So just a few thought starters for today. Now, one of these, I actually have seen this before, and I don't know if I've talked to you guys about it before, but I wanted to bring it up. I'm just going to read it to you. Now, I don't agree. Some of the phrasing I don't really love, but I'm going to read it to you just straight up because I want to just talk about this as a whole. So the post on Pinterest is, if you choose a working woman, you have to accept that she can't handle the house full time. If you choose a housewife who can take care of you and manage the home completely, you need to accept that she doesn't make money. If you choose a submissive woman, you must accept that she depends on you. If you choose to be with a brave woman, you must accept that she is tough and has thoughts of her own. If you choose a beautiful woman, you have to accept expenses too. If you choose to be with a great woman, you must accept that she is tough and firm. No woman is perfect. A woman has her own good thing that defines who she is and makes her unique. The reason why I like this post as a whole is because it's basically outlining like, if you have to accept the person for their best of their abilities, but also their limitations. This isn't just from husbands to wives. This is also from wives to husbands. Now, my grandmother and I recently had a visit together where we're just like talking through things, and My grandmother's 97, and not try, I go visit her monthly. I want to take try out of that because I've been making it a priority to go and visit her every month. Um, because she's 97 and I am working very much so with the mindset of like, I'm on borrowed time with her and I want to get to know her as a person. And our last visit was really, really, really cool because we got to spend the whole day together. We hung out together all day and we just talked. We just shot the breeze and she told me stories about, her and my grandfather, and we just kind of talked. And in part of those conversations, one of the things that came up was really around, husbands who are controlling and, husbands who don't want their wives to go out and about. My husband's like this. I think I've talked to you about this before, but, I always joke with my friends that I'm like, oh yeah, my household is like a 90s household in the sense that we're really traditional with roles in the house. That we are 100% traditional with roles. We're very old school in that sense. Where quote unquote husband is head of the house. He handles yard work, fixing things, building things, that stuff. And then I handle all the cooking, cleaning, laundry, kid maintenance, food, prep, cooking, whatever. Actually, cleaning I can't really say anymore because I've outsourced that. Like that's not a thing for me anymore. But either way, we're really traditional at home. And also along with that tradition is, when we got together and things were getting serious, he told me up front, he's very old school. He expects that if we were going to be serious, if we were going to go further with our relationship, like he's not on board with me having girls' nights. He wasn't on board with, me still going out and hanging out at bars and going out to nightclubs or anything like that. And I was okay with that. I'm still okay with that. And so we were talking about that, and my grandmother said to me, she's quite the feminist for 97. And she's like, well, doesn't that bother you? Isn't that not fair? That he can do whatever he wants and you're okay with him doing anything, but you're not allowed to do stuff. And to be perfectly like transparent as I am always with you guys, I mean, he doesn't go out either, but when we were dating, he would go out like once in a while. It doesn't bother me. It's never bothered me. It doesn't really bother me either about like not going out or not having girls' nights or not, doing things of that nature. I honestly don't care. And a lot of people do kind of look at me crazy for that. They think I'm a little nuts for that, especially since I have this platform and you guys have heard me talk about being independent, being a feminist. But I have also made the choice here that I'm choosing to be more traditional in that sense. I'm married, and to me, like if I'm going to go out and have a good time, I want it to be with my husband. I don't really want to go out without him. And that's my choice, right? That's my right to be able to choose that. I do. It also happens to work out that that's what he wanted too. So it's all good, right? It works out. There's no part of me that feels resentment because, to be perfectly honest, before I met him, was always told, like, get it out of your system, go out, have fun, do what you want. And so for a majority of my life, I lived my life very in the moment, in the now, and just was like, let me just have a good time. I don't know when I'm going to be able to do this again. I'm going to have the best time I can have. That's how I lived the whole of my 20s, basically. Like, from like 19 to 25, like it was a wrap. I was just having a good time and I was just along for the ride and I loved it. It was awesome. And then when I met my husband, I just knew like, okay, that's it. You're done. Like you don't want to do this anymore. I'm ready for the next phase. And the next phase for me meant like not going out and doing that. It just wasn't a thing for me anymore. There's a lot of pressure, I think, on women to be like, let's go have a wine night. Like, let's all go out together. And I'm sure that there's other women out there in my shoes that probably start to feel a little resentful. Also, maybe they don't, and they just feel awkward because they don't know how to say to people, I'm not on board. Like, I don't want to go out. I don't want to go out drinking. Honestly, my free time, if I have free time and I can go out, I want my husband to come. I like him. I like hanging out with him. And I know not everyone feels the same way, but my husband is my friend. Like, we're friends. He's my best friend. It's cheesy, but that is how it is for us. So no, like I'm kind of on the ball of like, I'm not really into it. Now, if you are and you have a relationship where your husband's cool with you going out to blow off steam, embrace it. That's awesome. Go for it. Like, but it's not everybody. Now, if you do find yourself in my scenario and you're not sure how to handle those situations because you feel awkward about it, I make a joke, as I have been saying here, like, oh, no, sorry, we're like the 1950s in my house. Like, I don't go out. And then that's it. I just leave it like that. And everybody kind of laughs it off and they're just like, oh my God, really? And I'm like, yeah, no, we're very traditional. Like it is what it is. I don't care. That's it. And then that's it. And you still engage with your friends and you still have time with them. You just happen to have your kids with you when you do, and not a big deal. It just isn't. So I just wanted to bring that to you all as a thought starter. We all have our own situations and we all have to remember that you're living your life to the best of ability for yourself, not for other people. So if you're cool with not going out, don't start to feel resentful or awkward or anything about it. That's your line. That's your line in the sand. I don't go out. And I'm cool with it. I'm not into it. Period. There is no shame in any way that you're living your life as long as you're cool with it at the end of the day. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. I want to encourage all of you to follow me on one of my socials or on the YouTube channel for the podcast. This Sunday is our first live episode. I'm super excited about it. You can tune in 9:30 on Sunday morning. I'm going to live stream on Instagram, LinkedIn, I think Facebook and YouTube. So you have a couple of options to check it out. And then you can actually chat me live and we can do like live Q&A things too. So I'm super excited about it. And so until